There are certainly areas of high crime in Europe, as there are in the United States and other countries.
No-go zone.
Well, it's short for Michael, obviously, and my name is Michael Fiorellino, host and creator of the series, Mike No-Go Zones. Favorite place so far has been Syria. It's been the most compelling episode I've ever done, and really it exceeded all expectations. It really went above and beyond what I expected to see in an episode. The country of Syria has just emerged from a brutal civil war. It was on the verge of being overrun by Islamic extremists like Daesh, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra. And the country was virtually on the verge of being wiped off the map. And they won in the end. The Syrian army actually was able to repel Islamic extremists and with help from the Kurds and other allies. And the country, you really see it, it's now, we're trying to find peace, and they're definitely in rebuilding mode now, so. Believe it or not, I would like to film in Brazil, go to Rio de Janeiro, you know, definitely, it's a city I've never been to yet, so it's definitely on my bucket list. Hopefully we'll all be able to travel soon. Okay, obviously my Gopro camera. Everything's been recorded with that camera so far, everything you've seen in the series. My phone, obviously, so I can you know, write down notes. Something to read. And another item would be a good travel pillow, because it's important to get your sleep. And before I travel, it's not really something that I carry. I always do a little bit of research into whatever destination I'm going into. Believe it or not, I prefer solo travel. I like having total freedom to do what I want to do, when I want to do it. And I tend to get more done when I travel alone. Now, mind you, there are some cases where group travel is necessary, but for the most part, with the exception of Syria, everything has been done totally by myself. I think when I was in Syria, I tried this really weird ice cream called bakdash. Ice cream, and it's like a stringy, cheesy type of ice cream. It actually stretches when you eat it. It's made with some kind of gum, I think, but that was featured on Bizarre Foods, the show by Andrew Zimmern, and I had to try it while I was in Damascus, and yeah, by far that was the most interesting. It was really unique, and it's made of a lot of pistachios, and I love pistachios, so. Some restaurants that I saw on TV and I had to try for myself. Well, in Chicago, if you watch episode 3, I go to Calumet Fisheries. I had to eat there because there's a place Anthony Bourdain went to, and I wanted to see what all the hype was about. And I gotta say, the place did not disappoint. The place is amazing. I got to talk with the manager there, Carlos, and he gave up a good portion of his time to sit down and talk to me. Another place was in Baltimore. It was called Moe's Seafood. It was also featured in Anthony Bourdain, and episode 5, that was when I went to Baltimore. And that place, again, amazing, and they let me film there for a couple of, you know, bringing my camera there, and they were really nice, and yeah, the food there is outstanding. Best crab cakes I've ever had. Good question. The food I miss the most? Probably the kunafa from Syria. Kunafa is a Middle Eastern pastry made with cheese and nuts and like doused in honey. It's something that you don't really find here in the States, so yeah, I miss that the most. That would be the crawfish from New Orleans. Episode 4 was filmed in New Orleans, and I love seafood, and eating that crawfish there, the etouffee, or whether it's the boiled ones, it was outstanding. Friendliest people that I met so far were definitely in Syria. Syria, you know what, being hospitality is really big in their culture, and I never once hid the fact that I was American, and not once did they give me a hard time, and the kindness they showed me, I never was shown that kind of kindness to a total stranger. I never experienced that in my life. It's amazing. So far, the most interesting person that I've met was in episode 4, Ms. Gail Hardy. She really went out of her way to tell me her story, totally unsolicited. It really blew my mind on how willing she was to work with me. And I found her story so compelling because this woman lost everything in her life. And she did not harbor any resentment or anything, and she was willing to start her life from scratch again. And I found her at peace. And it kind of inspired me to, not maybe look at the big picture in life. Don't worry, don't sweat the small things. Okay, that's easy. My scariest moment by far was in episode 5 in Baltimore. I inadvertently recorded an illegal transaction going down on a street corner. I didn't expect that to happen, but it happened, and what made it scary was that the people doing the transaction called their boss over to confront me, and he did confront me, and he asked me what I was doing there, and luckily he had his smartphone with him because I explained to him why I was there, what I was doing, and I explained to him what I was there to film a series, and I wasn't a policeman. He actually looked me up on his phone, and once he saw that I was a YouTube guy, not a cop, he relaxed, and then he bade me farewell. But I thought for a moment my life was over. I guess one of the things that triggered my desire to do this was the suicide of Anthony Bourdain. His show was something that I really enjoyed watching, and I loved the fact that he was the first guy to travel to unconventional places. And after he passed, I didn't see anyone else doing anything like that. And also, what got me to do it was that I was sick and tired of what mainstream media was selling me all the time, to always be scared, to fear people that don't look like me, that are in a different economic bracket. And I got tired of it. So I figured if no one's gonna show what the reality is, why not me? It was a month before September 11 actually, but I decided to backpack across Europe for 2 months, and that's the longest I've been away from home. I was actually in Rome, Italy when that horrible day happened. Okay, how am I documenting my trips? That is with my camera and my phone. Everything's been recorded on a Gopro or with my Samsung telephone so far. And that's how everything's been documented so far, and of course by creating the series to bring to everybody. I guess when I first started the series, episode 1, the city of Opelika is definitely a unique city. It's right here in our backyard of Miami, and it's full of Moorish architecture, and no one expects to see that in South Florida, especially in that neighborhood. And by far, walking around there, documenting the magnificent architecture there. The most interesting thing that I've learned, you know what, it's that these no-go zones that the media tells us to fear, they're not as bad as the media makes it out to be. It's full of people that just want a better portrayal, just things to be different for them. Or in the case of the last episode in Syria, this is a country that's in the process of rebuilding itself after a brutal civil war. They just want to be treated as normal people, and that's pretty much it. That's what I've learned. I am definitely not a tourist. Tourists go to cruises. Tourists go to all-inclusive resorts. I do not do that. I never did want to do that. I was never the guy to go sit on the resort with the umbrella in his drink. That's not me. I'd rather go in the heart of a city, go to totally hang with the locals. That to me is traveling. That's the only way you learn. Going to an all-inclusive resort is not traveling for me. That is just taking all the comforts of your home and transferring it to another country. So definitely a traveler. I am definitely a traveler. Is this my dream job? Yes, it is. I really hope to do this for a long, long time. I do have a day job, but hopefully one day if this series gets successful enough, yeah, this will be my only job. But yes, it is my dream to do this. What I love the most about this series, the actual planning of a trip. It gives me a real charge. The discovery, when you discover a new place and it totally blows your mind away, and the unexpected surprises. That to me is always the highlights of all the videos that I've done. Hey, this is Mike from No-Go Zones. I love creating and sharing this series with you. I would be appreciative if you could like, comment, and share these videos with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe.